I had the privilege of doing a summer program with a 14-year-old Israeli child. And I was suddenly confronted with someone who had a very different position on these issues, who I couldn't denounce, who I couldn't attack, who I couldn't, sort of engage with in the traditional ways that someone would make that argument. So like my question for you is, how do you sort of go about that with the people you can't take those lines of argument with, people like friends, family, who can help you if you win them over, but you have to win them over in a non-traditional way?
It's a great question. To be honest, there are fewer and fewer of those people around because we are a very polarized country. So most political issues do end up being quite partisan nowadays. Everything's become partisan. Even things people agree on, once the person in power changes, everyone changes their position on it. In terms of specifically Gaza, specifically Gaza is a human story, right? This is why it's so important to elevate the voices of Palestinians who are actually on the front lines and let them speak for themselves. There's, the apocryphal line that's attributed to Stalin, which is one death is a tragedy, a million is a statistic. I, as a journalist, can say 1,500 healthcare workers have been killed, 34 of 36 Gaza hospitals have been destroyed. The WHO says there's never... Great, okay, but it only goes so far. Ultimately, what is going to cut through to people is the stories of real people on the ground. I have seen this film 3, 4, 5 times, I've lost track. But every time I see Khalid Hamouda talk about waking up and seeing his daughter dead in front of him, breaks me. And any human being with a heart, it breaks them. And that's why public opinion has changed, right? That's why most people are against what's happening, because most people are not sociopaths. And the people who are left behind defending are sociopaths. That's what it's come down to. Like, there's a reason, to go back to what Feroz said, like, there's a reason why democracy is broken in this country. Like, 50% of Americans say it's a genocide. 3% of members of Congress say it's a genocide. Only 1 in 3 Americans says it's not a genocide. And even the 1 in 3 who says it's not a genocide, they concede, well, it's bad, it shouldn't be happening, we want a ceasefire, it's war crimes. So to go back to your question, I would actually say, for the few people who are still ignorant to what is happening in Gaza, you have to really present the human story to them. I say in the book, it's not about facts and figures, it's about connecting with people in their hearts, not their heads, with stories, not with statistics. That's still true. But the broader point I would make is, actually, the hardcore minority who are still defending this stuff, they're kind of irredeemable, and I wouldn't really waste too much time on them. And I say that as someone who sits and debates them on different shows. But just to be clear, in my defense, I debate those freaks on shows online, not because I'm trying to change their minds, it's because I'm trying to get through to maybe the one person who's happened to come across this show who didn't know what's actually happening on the ground. But it's not to change their minds. As I say, if you're still defending this 23 months in, you're a sociopath.